Because of you.
Are you recording?
I am right. Okay, welcome. All right, welcome to my YouTube channel. If everybody could just put their hands to heart center. Okay. Now set your intention. Great. Great. Open your eyes. Okay, great. So I'm hoping that your intention was to learn how to edit photos today because that's exactly what I'm here to teach you. Woo! Can you get that? I'm not moving. So as you guys can probably see, Lexi Mars is not here with me, which brings me to some news that I have to deliver. We are no longer friends. I'm kidding. That bitch is still my best friend, and if she ever leaves me, I swear to God I will find her. Anyway, we decided that we were gonna do separate videos because I wanted to walk you guys through, actually she did too, this is not about me. We both wanted to walk you guys through how we edit our photos, but we do that kind of differently, and we wanted to make sure that you guys see our different processes. I'm gonna take you guys from the conception of the photo to how I get it the way I want it to before posting on Instagram. I was debating on how I wanna do this because we do take a fair amount of our photos on DSLR, so we use a Canon 6D Mark II with a 24 to 70 millimeter lens, and we also switch off between using our iPhones, and we both have the iPhone XS Max. I can't say that one is 100% better than the other, but I am going to edit an iPhone photo today that looks kind of like DSLR because it was such great light, and I wanted to do that just because I know that a lot of you are probably using your iPhone, especially if you're beginners, but my process with DSLR versus iPhone is pretty similar all across the board. Did you want to say hi?
Also, maybe you're like me and you don't even need to edit your photos because you're so stunning naturally.
You're so pretty.
Just kidding, I edit the shit out of my photos.
Get out of my video. Get out. Can you show us your back? Let's see your back.
Oh! Shimmy yay, shimmy yay, shimmy ya.
I'm not doing this. Get out.
Swalla la la. Hashtag cupping.
So the first thing that I'll do is open up a really pretty picture of myself. I look extremely pretty, absolutely stunning. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I go to my editing folder on my phone, which is on the front page of my phone because I am an Instagram whore, and I'm always editing photos of myself because I love taking pictures of myself because, again, I'm extremely pretty. We're gonna open up VSCO, which is like the best app ever. I'm filming. If you could just turn off your devices, that'd be great. Thanks. I'm gonna go ahead and edit this really pretty photo of me, and I am going to use the filter M5. So I pretty much always use the filter M5, and I have it in my favorites, so I'll show you guys how to do favorites. You basically hold down the filter, and then there's a star that you can choose on VSCO, and so you star it so that you can always come back to your, here's all presets, then favorites, and then I'll hit M5. And this is a really good example because it looks crazy when you hit it right away, but I'll show you guys how I make it a little bit less intense. I'm gonna go to exposure, and for this photo in particular, M5 kind of made it a little brighter, so I'm gonna take the exposure down. I'm gonna go to contrast and just increase the contrast ever so slightly. I'll go to sharpen, and I'll maybe sharpen it. I tend to sharpen the photos more on DSLR, and if it's iPhone, I won't ever sharpen it more than like 0.7. Then the next thing that I'll do is, as you can see, it's kind of looking a little dull, so I'm gonna actually increase the saturation. Then I'm gonna go over to white balance, bring the temperature down a little bit, because if I bring it up, then my skin and my hair is looking pretty yellow. So I wanna take the yellow down. I'll always go to fade because the blacks are really intense in this photo. So I'm gonna click fade, and I won't go past like 1.5. So here's the before and after right there. And go to the top 3 dots in the right hand corner, save to camera roll, actual size. And then I will exit out of that and go to my editing app again to Lightroom. I will go to the color section on Lightroom and then go to mix, top right corner, and then go to orange, and I'll take the luminance down. So obviously I'm not gonna do that, and obviously I'm not gonna do that, but that's kind of to give you idea of the range that the luminance can do. I'm gonna do -11, and then I'll take the red and I'll make the hue towards the left and increase the reds because I really want my lips to pop. And I won't touch the luminance. Then I'll go over to the yellow. I usually like to make the yellows kind of stand out a little more and lighten them. So I'll take the luminance and put that up. And depending on the photo, so for this particular photo, I don't want to like white out my hair. So I'm actually gonna use the saturation of the yellow and turn it up a little bit. So then I'm gonna go to vibrance and turn that up to +20, and then saturation, and then I'll do like -7. And then I'll go to light, and then I will up the contrast a little bit, so +11, and then up the blacks, because again, I don't want those blacks to be super harsh. And then sometimes I'll up the whites too to make sure that I pop enough in the photo. There you go. All of a sudden, my skin becomes tanner and my background becomes a little more muted. Next thing I'll do is go into Snapseed. And this is where I do selective editing. So I'll click Tools, Selective, and then I will zoom in on an area of my face that I want to edit. Click there, and then pinch that to make it smaller. And I can selectively edit the brightness. So I'll take this and maybe put the brightness down ever so slightly, and then go to saturation. So there's the before and after. So you can see my skin matches a little bit better overall. So now we're gonna go to everyone's favorite app, FaceTune, and I use this to detail and smooth. And to be honest, if a piece of clothing, if it's a weird angle and it's kind of like bloating my stomach or whatever, I'll push the piece of clothing in a little bit, because if it's an unfair angle, then I get it. FaceTune is a really good way to, if you need to reshape a clothing item, then you can. But do I manipulate the shape of my body? No. The first thing that I'll do is go to the smooth tool. I love a good FaceTune smooth, so I'll just lightly tap, and I usually just dot around my skin. What you could also do is use the tones. So go to tones, picker, pick a color right underneath my eyes, and then just run over it with tones, and there you go. It just brightens it up ever so slightly. Go to smooth again, and again, just smooth out that area. Then I will detail. So I'll want the belt to pop. I'll go and detail the belt, the Christian Dior friendship bracelet, and the necklaces, just so those pop. And then I'll go ahead and detail my liner, lashes, and brows. The next thing that I'll do is whiten. Sometimes I like to whiten the blonde in my hair so that it pops more and that you don't see any brassy tones. I'll usually just whiten some of the background, especially if it's a yellow base. This is super blue, so I didn't really need to. I crop by 4x5 because that's how Instagram works. I always like to leave enough headspace, make sure I'm in the middle of the photo. Then sometimes I like to add the dust, so I'll go to RNI Films and go to the editing tool, scroll all the way to the right to the dust, turn this up a little bit, and then you can hit the dice to see different sort of dust options for editing. I also like to add the date stamp sometimes. So I'm gonna go back to my editing folder and go to Lomograph. You can do these cool edits if you wanted to make it super vintage. I love this app for all of the vintage filters it has, especially the black and white one is pretty dope too. But for this photo particularly, I just want to use the date stamp, and then I'm gonna save. Also show you guys what I sometimes do on Afterlight. I like the chroma effect on Afterlight, especially for more like boring photos, to just make it more interesting if you're up against a white wall or something like that. It kind of messes with the background a little bit. So here's the extreme and here's none. I also like using the app Glitché. This I use a lot on my detail shots or on flat lays to make it more interesting. And then you can kind of play around with how you want it to glitch your photo. Also, another thing that I love to do, the best app that ever existed, is Retouch. And I'm gonna show you, I've taken out literal humans in my photos because of this app. It's amazing. I'm so sorry about the outdoor noise that's happening right now. So I'll hit quick repair if I wanted to get rid of this or that. Like, this app is amazing. I hope this video helped. It took me forever and a day to figure out my process, but I finally gotten it down pat, and there are 1,000,001 apps that I use to get through one photo. So as you can see, it's not something that just takes 5 seconds. Yeah, subscribe. Okay, love you guys, bye.